After 60 years at the helm of Berkshire Hathaway, today is Warren Buffett's last day as the company's CEO. Joining us now at Post 9 is Gardner Russo and Quinn Chairman and Partner Thomas Russo. Thomas, great to see you, and so glad you could come in and talk about this. Of course, known Warren and been an investor at Berkshire for a very long time. And we'd just love your thoughts initially on what do you think changes tomorrow, if anything, with how Warren relates to Greg Abel, the incoming CEO, and how we should start to think about the management of the company now?
I think the goal will be to continue as if nothing had happened, but it has, and it requires different relationships. I think Warren will remain active. Ideally, he'd have a relationship with Warren. Warren would have a relationship with Greg, much like Charlie had with Warren.
Interesting.
And they were a source of information, feedback. There's a great story with Warren and Charlie that on an afternoon, end of the summer weekend, Warren would deliver an idea to Charlie, and Charlie would say, "Warren, that's the stupidest idea I've ever heard. At least do me a favor, go home and take a look." And they come back the next day and they reverse the opinion. No, Charlie, you were right. It's terrible. No, Warren, you were. And that banter back and forth sort of surfaces truth. There's the core belief, that you want to find businesses that have the capacity to reinvest. They have strong, powerful brands. They have management who can take long-term bets, which is a scarce group. It tends to be family-run companies. They'll still look for family-run companies, businesses where they can make the long-term decisions and free themselves up from Wall Street.
Yeah,
it's really been the unhinging of Berkshire from sort of Wall Street requirements.
For sure,
has really helped the trajectory of 4 million% versus something like 19 at the S&P or something.
When Warren in May did announce that he would be stepping back at the end of the year, he still said, look, I'm going to big there are large opportunities. I'll be looking. I'll be helping out. You get the impression he was hopeful that maybe there would be one of these, big opportunistic plays to be made. Not yet.
Right.
What do you make of that, and make of the fact that they've just allowed cash to build up?
Well, I have to just remind everybody that where the cash sits is called assets.
Right.
And where the conversation exists is called liabilities. And people are walking around with a big sack on their back saying, "Oh my, how are we ever going to unburden ourselves with this liability?"
Yeah, right.
Well, the markets will give them every reason to unburden themselves, because the market will deliver at a time when it's no longer 400 billion. It feels like 600 or 700 because what you're buying will have stumbled. And you see the ingredients of stumbling being sort of assembled by extra leverage in the system and by valuation excesses in the system.
Right.
Now, it's across the board things you have to be fairly opportunistic, but the notion that $400 billion hoard is anything other than an asset will be dismissed when someone finds themselves in need of money and there's only one place to go.
Yeah.
Whether it's insurance or whether it's other services, they'll go to Warren, and the margins will be fine.
So you mentioned the family businesses and these other companies that really seek to sell to Berkshire Hathaway. Is there any risk that won't be as much the case if Warren himself is not there eventually?
Well, I think Greg's been there, and so it often proceeds over time. It's not. It can be sort of like signing the line right off the bat, but typically they get to know each other. And an ambassador of that interchange has been Greg increasingly. It's example, especially so in Japan, with the multiple holding companies that they've now invited Warren in to hold increasing amounts of their capital. Well, that can continue to evolve favorably to Berkshire and increasing the capital.